Neil, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us. I've got you in the article there, and just kind of talked about your comments about this wasn't an example of like the technology taking over for human judgment and human decision making, right? Can you talk about the role that it played here in the trial?
So yeah, I mean, first of all, you mentioned the prior case where a lawyer used ChatGPT to do his legal homework and then showed up in court. We generally think that's obviously a terrible idea, and it's not what our software does. We train on specific legal documents for a case. Those can be discovery documents, they can be transcripts. In this case, the domain was really narrowed to just the transcripts from the trial. And so, attorneys, think about it as like the ability to superpower of talking to your documents, if you will, talking to your legal documents. In this case, you could ask, complex questions of the prior proceedings that are revealed in the transcripts. You can ask it to help you ideate, write outlines, help draft remarks. But importantly, as you point out, this is not a replacement for a human lawyer. This is a power tool to help human lawyers be able to do their jobs faster and better and with more fidelity, we think, like many other pieces of technology that sit on everyone's laptops today. So we think it's not, revolutionary in the sense that technology is coming to law. It's just revolutionary in terms of its new capabilities with this new type of generative AI.
Is there any kind of responsibility from the company to kind of monitor like who's using it and how?
We do feel like, of course, we have a responsibility. We work very closely with all the companies we work with. And by the way, we don't just do AI for legal, by the way. That's just one of the components. We work in healthcare and travel and customer service and many other fields. And this is not a set it and forget it kind of relationship. We kind of work with you to bring in the documents, make sure that everything's clean and functioning correctly, help you learn how to use the system, make sure you're getting accurate outputs from it. If you're not, we can adjust that to make sure they are accurate. So it's a very handheld process. And yeah, of course, we feel responsible to make sure that attorneys or whomever gets a great outputs from the AI. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, how's everything been going in the wake of this? I mean, have you done a lot of interviews, or are you getting a lot of response from other attorneys? I mean,
yeah, the phone's been ringing off the hook. Many firms have called us in the last just 2 days, and they want to understand it. They read the piece and they go, AI seems really interesting. Why don't you explain to me how it works? Can it benefit us or not? And they're making evaluations. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the judge in the Southern District of New York, his ruling kind of captured where he says just the fact that somebody would use AI to assist in their legal preparations, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. And when we were talking on the phone yesterday or the other day, I could totally understand what you were saying about leveling the playing field, because especially in a case like this, well, I think Pras has enough money to afford a big law firm, but you kind of see a big case like this and think that if you can't afford a huge law firm, you're just screwed. I mean, you can't compete with the DOJ and fight these kind of complex charges at trial if you don't have tons of money.
I appreciate you bringing that up, because that actually is the big societal picture in my mind. What can this artificial intelligence do to try to empower people who don't have access to enormous resources? If you're public defender, or if you're just an American with average means and you have to enter the court system, it's expensive to win.
Yeah.
And we know how unfair those outcomes can be. And if AI can be a co-pilot, second chair, if you will, for public defenders and others, and give them the same kind of firepower that a massive firm might have, that's a huge force for good. And we think that's the really more important, bigger picture. We're glad to be on this case, but I think this case is kind of maybe peels back the onion about what's really important about this technology. I think what we really want people to understand, though, is that the technology does work. This is not like the AI that you experience maybe using ChatGPT and asking it questions and it hallucinates and makes things up. This is a different approach where you can use the brain power of something like GPT, but train it really on specific documents that are that are factual and get these hallucination-free factual responses and do things that are quite astounding. I mean, if you think about, how do you deal with documents today? I mean, cases have, hundreds of thousands or millions of documents in them. You're basically working on technology that's 20 years old. It's keyword searching, and you have to read enormous amounts of information to try to find answers, to try to navigate your way to the points you want to make. If you could just have a conversation with those documents, tell me everybody that suspect A has ever had a communication with. And 30 seconds later, that can come out. How would you keyword search that? You can. And then, okay, tell me what conversation was like between this person and that person over the course of these emails or these text messages from these dates. I mean, you can't synthesize that today with the old-fashioned tools. That's a huge amount of legal time. It's now possible to just, talk to these documents like they're a human being. They're not. But that's kind of a superpower that we think can be used in really powerful ways in the legal space.
Yeah, well, I'm interested to hear about, how it's used in the future, and if you guys have, another case coming up or something like that where attorneys would be willing to, talk about exactly how they're using it or kind of show it in action or something, that'd be interesting. So, yeah.
We'd love to do that. We'd love to come back. We actually have a pretty big announcement on a new legal technology coming out shortly. I don't want to get too ahead of that announcement, but you'll be one of the first to know when we do very soon.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, hey, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.